Hello, everyone. My name is Mano Behera. I am joining you from Chicago. This is a cool, warm day. It is a little cool. It's not hot or anything like that. So it's a nice day, actually. And I'm glad to be speaking to you all today. I see some of you have joined the chat area, and we will be getting started in a few minutes, exactly 3 minutes. So while we are waiting to get started, a couple of things, just housekeeping things. Please use the chat box to introduce yourself and where you're joining from. And we will be using the chat box to kind of communicate, ask questions and stuff. So we will do that. And I'm looking at the chat area here to see who all have joined. I see some people have joined, but I haven't seen anybody drop their information. So we'll wait for a second here. One of the things I want to confirm is you're able to hear and see me. So I'm going to drop that in the chat area as well, because if they're not able to hear and see me, they can't obviously hear and see me. So I'm going to drop here. Please confirm you are able to see the video and hear me. Okay, great. You need to press the play button to be able to see me. Okay, remember, again, if you're not able to hear me, you can't hear me. So I need to type this in. Great. Thank you, Jordan. Thanks for confirming. Okay, so I can be seen and heard. We actually have a quick minute or so before we get things going. I am going to be, don't worry, I'm not going to be, you're not going to be seeing me for long, because I'm going to switch over to the presentation here. But I just want to take the opportunity to say hello to you and welcome, Jordan. And if you could mention maybe which city, which part of the world you're joining from, that would be great. Okay, while we are waiting for actually a minute left to begin, please take a moment to share it, tweet it, with somebody who might be interested in the topic today. So let me go ahead and do this. Jordan, I see you are from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome. As a matter of fact, I went to school in Florida, University of Miami in Coral Gables. Home of the Hurricanes. So great, welcome. Kevin from North Dakota, welcome. I see from Iowa, PJ from Iowa, welcome. And anybody else I can see? I have some viewers as well. So what I'm going to do is it is 3 o'clock, and I want to get started here. So Brian, welcome from Hawaii. All right. Great. So I'm going to switch over the presentation, and as I promised, we'll get started on time. So so you're not going to be seeing me till the end of the webinar. I'm going to switch over a presentation right now. Okay. Great. And we're going to get started right away here. I'm just going to make sure everybody's able to get on here. Good. So a couple of housekeeping things. I actually was shutting down my phone. So if you do have phones or any other things, we're going to be spending an hour and we'll be covering a lot of information. So please go ahead and attend to that. We would love to have your attention, because I'm going to be sharing, as I said, a lot of information. Okay, good. So let me kick off things here. This is 1 minute past 3 o'clock. Great. Welcome, everyone. Glad you're able to join us on this webinar. Today, I'm going to share some restaurant marketing strategies. And within those strategies, I'm going to share how you can leverage digital marketing and digital technologies. As I was just mentioning, I will be hanging out a bit longer, but stick around for the next 60 minutes, and I will be sharing some very specific information and importantly, actionable information. Now, we will have some QA at the end, but please go ahead and use the chat box to ask your questions at any time, and we'll address it as we go along. Okay, great then. So let's get your pen and pad out, and let's get started. Oh, one more thing before we get started. I have a special bonus for you at the end. So this is an extremely valuable resource for your business, and something I actually share with each one of our clients. So you do not want to miss this. So stick around, and in the end, I will give you this resource, which you could you can take. So with that, let's get rolling. First things first is, let's kind of set the stage here. Who is this webinar for? And, I want to make sure that this time is worth. Well, this webinar is for you if you are, own a restaurant, either a new one or running the business for some years, like 5, 10, 20 years. And what you're looking to do is either establish with a new business or grow the business. And using digital strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you, you will be able to do that effectively. So stick around. Now, this is also for you if you are a restaurant manager and you're seeing new competition come up with big chain, and you hear how the big chain competition has been leveraging all kinds of emerging and new technologies, and they're investing heavily in digital space. But you might not have that kind of budget or things to do. But I'm going to show you how you can actually smartly reach and engage with your customers, again leveraging digital. Okay. Now, if you're in marketing and probably have to deal with ad budgets and wondering again how to deal with new technologies coming up, I'm going to show you how you can maximize your ROI from your marketing budget. And then if you're in operations, performance, branding are important to you, I'll show you how leveraging the digital platform and using digital strategies can enable those metrics. So in a nutshell, really, if you grow, growing the business, a restaurant business is of interest, you'll find the next 60 minutes very, very informative. Okay. So the first thing is I wanted to get your feedback. I see that Joseph and Melody mentioned that they're able to see and hear. Thanks for that. I want to also mention there is a slight delay between the audio and the chat, so we'll have to be aware of that. But I shouldn't see any issues with that. So I just wanted to realize there is a slight delay. Okay, good. So what is your number one goal related to restaurant marketing? Okay, I'd like to get your feedback so that I have a better sense. I know I have asked this question through our this webinar sign up, and some of you have responded, and I have a good sense, and we'll be talking about that. But I want to ask again, what is your number one goal? Is it, obviously revenue growth is the obvious one. But then, specifically, are you looking to expand to a new segment? We hear about millennials and the various generation. So are you trying to do that? And, you're looking at digital to be able to help you do that. Or brand awareness, right? Or competition, we talked about some of that. Or, increasing, your checks or getting more traffic. So I'd love to hear what is, as you are present in this webinar, what is the number one goal? As it relates to restaurant marketing and digital marketing. So great. It'll take a minute to come back, but I'm going to move to the next slide, and I'll come back and discuss that as well. The next question I have for you is, what is your current state of digital, right? And go ahead and let me know, and type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One from one is really, you might have a website, but really not a good, you feel that, you don't have a good online presence. And for 2 is online presence, but 3 is, you have good engagement, maybe on social platform, Four is you do have some digital initiatives where you're able to attract new traffic. And then five is the retain is, in addition to attracting, you are able to have a good loyalty and a retain program. So please mention that, so I know where you're at today, and and then where you're trying to go was the previous question. So I see on the chat area, business, obviously I believe Melody probably asking how do you grow the business. Great. I hear rebranding from previous marketing. I'm not 100% sure from rebranding from previous marketing, but assuming that that is your previous marketing efforts probably led to a particular branding, and you want to have a specific idea as to how you want to go forward. Again, website and Facebook. That's great. We'll talk a little bit about Facebook and some and some ideas. And then Jordan mentions now your current state of digital is 5, so that's great. We will talk some ideas. So I'm getting a good sense here, but please mention where you're at in terms of what your goals are and your state of digital, and we'll address that along the way. Little bit and just a little bit about me. Basically, a long time back, not long, about 22 years ago, I traveled halfway around the world to pursue, the dream, the American dream. It was actually, I landed in Florida, as I was just mentioning, and really not knowing anyone, leaving behind everyone I knew at that time back in India. And so I went, did a master's degree in University of Miami, and then really after finishing that, moved up to Chicago to join a startup company. So I've been really doing technology, strategy, and digital marketing with the startups, and as well as consulting Fortune 500 companies, as with companies like GM, Harley Davidson, and then McDonald's, before I launched my own company. We'll talk a little bit about that. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is, interestingly, while at McDonald's, I was on one hand leading the technology investment strategy team and implementing technology across the 30,000 McDonald's restaurants worldwide. But on the other hand, I observed many independent restaurants in the local community, friends and family who owned restaurants around the country, who are really working hard with the day-to-day running of the business. But as they were trying to grow the business, they were either not, they were not getting the ROI from the digital. They were not leveraging digital property properly. So speaking of digital, did you know the, kind of like the number one mistake restaurants make with their digital strategy? It's actually very basic. But I've seen this mistake with really about most of the restaurants I was talking about as I interact with restaurants. And in my opinion, it is actually not having an integrated digital strategy. What I come across is, it's kind of like the shot in the dark approach to digital, right? It's resulting in a very disintegrated strategy. And sometimes it's a mishmash of technology, and really, in many cases, it's really not aligned to the business goals, right? So in a nutshell, basically, independent restaurants have really not leveraged digital effectively, either due to the expertise, budget, or approach. Now, I did, this was very clear. Like, I did see that there, the larger companies like the Starbucks, the Paneras, the McDonald's of the world, digital was a number one priority, investing really a lot of money towards implementing digital in restaurants, and that's what I did in McDonald's, right? But the smaller restaurant, we talked about not leveraging digital effectively, but there is one advantage I see, right? The smaller businesses have, and this is the advantage is, because of the size, right? They can be nimble and they can be agile, right? Now with smaller businesses, if you own a smaller business, you can make, you have an advantage that, you can make decisions quicker. I call the, try, fail, learn, adjust cycle. You can actually do that. It's a much faster, and really create and align digital plans to your business goals much quicker. So you have that flexibility, that agile approach. You're nimble, and as I was saying, and my background, coming from large companies, planning cycles were annual, and transformation initiatives lasting 3 to 5 years, right? So taking years, sometimes multiple years to figure out if something is good or not good. But with smaller businesses, you really can actually figure out what works for the business within really 60, 90 days, and even sooner, right? So that was pretty exciting. That was something I could help. So I decided to get involved with smaller businesses, especially restaurants, less than 20, 30, less than 100 units, less than 10 units, a couple of units. So that's what is what I focus on today. And so in 2014, founded the company, the Digital Restaurant, really with a single focus of helping restaurants succeed using digital marketing. Okay. As I was saying, right, so Joseph mentions increase foot traffic and target new sector of market, right? Okay, so moving to a new segment, millennials. Okay, great. And then online presence is 4. So this is what I when I launched my company, one of the things we did is really listen to restaurant owners, and this is what we heard, right? I heard we want to bring more people to a restaurant, and that's what some of the feedback actually in the chat area as well. We want to grow traffic, right? We want to reach more people with marketing, and some of them are pretty plain and simple, as like we want more butts and seats, right? Fill empty tables on slow nights, right? Mondays or the Tuesdays, whatever those slow nights happen to be. One restaurant owner here in the Chicagoland area, said this. I asked a simple question: how's your digital marketing working? And this is what he had to say. Now you see hits, impressions, likes don't mean squat. I do not know if that means anything to grow the business, or is it really positive effectively, right? Even if it does, and maybe it does, I cannot tell for sure, right? So if something somebody is doing, you're doing some marketing initiatives and digital marketing, do you have a good sense of, right, if this is working or not? Should you continue on doing, or stop and do something else? And that is where the problem of mishmash of technologies and initiatives come into picture. So I understand the challenges, right? So coming from a background in strategy, and where we can connect the dots, I was able to understand a little bit better. And today, we will be addressing some of these problems and look at how your digital marketing can help solve on some of these challenges, right? So in a nutshell, if you summarize some of those things, really, if you have to make a problem statement, how do we attract new diners, right? So would you agree that this is a good thing to talk about, maybe in the next few minutes, or maybe 5-10 minutes? How do we attract new diners to our restaurant, right? So let me see if I'm hearing if that is a good topic to address. If I can say yes, no, maybe, that will be great to hear. So bottom line is, how as a business, we are able to, get new, foot through the door, right? So I'm assuming yes, because there is a slight delay, as I mentioned. Right, so I'm going to move forward for the interest of time, and hopefully I'll get some feedback in the chat area. Okay. So the strategy we're going to talk about is, now there is no silver bullet. I just want to, there is none. So because, when we go in and talk and work with each business, we test a lot of things and let the data, we make, educated decision based on the data. So there is no silver bullet. So I'm going to share a strategy here today, which, we find in many scenarios, and hopefully, and, most likely would work for you, but you would have to test in your current settings. Okay. But I can tell that from many of our clients, we have been executing the strategy, and it has been producing great results. Okay, and I'm going to show some of these results, as a matter of fact. Now, to be able to execute the strategy, there is a couple of things. The first thing is, you got to have a restaurant website and get some traffic, and I'm sure everybody has probably. you do have your SEO set up, right? And you're probably on local directories as well, and you're getting some decent amount of traffic. Okay, so if that is your current state, this will make the most sense. Okay, so let's talk about what that means. Now, a couple of things. Within the strategy, there are a couple of tactical, and this is like now you could take as an action step. There are various thoughts around email opt-in pop-ups on a website. Some people say, and there's a lot of debate, where is the right thing? Is it the right thing to do or not? The data says that it is the right thing, and it actually produces, results, right? So you can capture your email pop-up. Okay, so if you have a restaurant website, as mentioned, and you have some traffic, you could, if you do not have email opt-in pop-up on your website, this is something you can consider to do that. Now, you may have an email popped in, but you got to have a good incentive for them to provide that email address, right? And we call it the ethical bribe. Now, it could be many things, and the most common we have seen is what is called the coupons, right? The $5 off coupon, $10 off coupon. But you could also provide, depending upon your market segment, something other than a coupon, like free recipes or some PDF. If you are a health concept, 5 things to do every day to keep yourself, whatever the concept is, but you have to actually provide some kind of giveaway to an incentive, so for people to sign up. Because I've seen also, like, many restaurant websites have an email sign up form, and it is actually not converting, right? So you have to give them an incentive for them to sign up to that thing. And as I said, the most common and the easiest to probably do is give them a $5 off coupon, which they can use. And then, depending upon your coupon management, that coupon can be used for one time only. So you don't want the people signing up, forwarding that coupon to their friends and family or whatever, reposting it, and everybody is using the coupon without actually signing up on your website. Okay, so we talked about a lot of things, within the last minute, but the essence of it is, like, you want to capture your online visitors, and you want to know them, and this will become much more clear as we go along. The next step is, well, the really important question is, what are you doing about your mobile visitors today, right? So if you look at if you do have analytics on your restaurant website, that should tell you, right? Now, today, 70% of restaurant visitors to your restaurant website are from a mobile device, right? Now, do you have the data? If you do not have, right, then that is one of the things as an action item, is to put some analytics behind your analytics code behind your website to understand that the visitors to your restaurant website, where are they coming from? Okay, so because having a mobile responsive website is not enough. Now, remember, we're talking about the capture and convert strategy here, right? So let me kind of share with you what, if you're not aware, this is what looks like a Google Analytics. And I'm actually sharing with you a client Google Analytics graph here. And as you can see, 63% of our of visitors are from a mobile device, and 9% are from a tablet device. So a mobile device, if you're the smartphone and a tablet combined, is over 72%. So 72% of all people visiting this restaurant website are from a mobile device. So that is huge. Okay. Now, if that is the same case with your restaurant, right? Then the key question is, what are you doing to be able to capture this traffic in the right way and hopefully convert? So let's talk about this. Now, typically, so we're talking about mobile conversion, because people who are coming on from mobile, they are looking for certain things, right? And we want to make sure we capture that. What is that? Now, if you look at typically, a restaurant website, on a desktop view, it looks something like this, right? And if you look at your restaurant website from a desktop, it looks something like this, similar to that, right? So it has menus and catering, whatever that is. Now, the next step, if you have is what is called a mobile responsive website. The same website, on a mobile device looks something similar. Now, can anybody tell, what is missing here? What is the obvious thing on the chat area? I'd love to hear, if you're catching this thing. So this is the desktop version of the website, and this is really the same website on a mobile device. So this is an iPhone 6, as a matter of fact, right? So can anybody guess like, there's something missing here, right? Let's see if you can catch it. It's almost like a little bit of fun, and I can get a swig of water while you're thinking about that. Okay, so Melody mentioned stabs. Anybody else? Okay, again, for the sake of time, I'm going to move along. But in my perspective, okay, it is good, looks good, right? So nice pictures, nice like colors, everything, but it's actually not good for conversion, because people from a mobile come for a particular reason, right? They're on a mobile. That means the user is probably mobile, right? On the and then they're looking either for information. I say that they're looking for 4 things, and maybe there are more, but they're looking for information about the food or menu or something about the restaurant location. So they're looking for information. They're looking to either order food if the restaurant offers online ordering. They're looking to make a reservation. And if they're a loyal customer, they're looking for reward, anything related to rewards, like the points and deals, and right. So these are the 4 things literally, and there might be a 5th thing, but if they're looking for maybe specifically gluten-free or whatever, again, then that is information. But there are 4 buckets of categories of information they're looking for. Well, if you look at this mobile responsive website, okay, it's not very obvious. It's not very obvious that this restaurant is offering online ordering. Now, this particular restaurant is actually one of our clients. They offer online ordering. They have online reservation. There is they have very popular food. Okay, so even though the restaurant website is mobile responsive, so my thing is. Basically, you got to make sure it's not just about a pretty website and beautiful colors and right. It has to actually work for your business. Okay, so let me move forward, and you'll know exactly. So we actually developed a mobile app, right? And as you can see over here, now it is very clear, right? This is a mobile app. It replaces the mobile responsive website. And now it is much more conversion focused. So if you're looking for hours and location, contact information, you're looking to order or look at your rewards and deals and the reserve, right? So this is converts better, and we actually when we change, you'll see what kind of data, what kind of results we got. But then before I even get into that, the next one I want to show you is, now how about you hear about restaurants and other businesses developing a mobile app, right? And when they're referring to a mobile app, this is a native app. Now again, what is right? I wish I had a lot of time to discuss here, but what is the trouble with mobile apps? And I imagine I am a dad. My son just mentioned it. He wants to have pizza. So I actually want to get the pizza if my 5-year-old is telling he's hungry and wants to have pizza, right? And so my top priority is how I can get that pizza to my home, okay, as soon as possible. Now, if I'm told, go to Google, Apple Store and search for this restaurant app, right, and you have to download it, and then you have to configure it or whatever, you lost me already, right? Would you agree? So it has to be simple, right? So that is where and then of course, not to mention the native apps are expensive to build out. So what we looking at on the right, so a mobile app or a mobile web app, which automatically switches from a desktop to a mobile app view, is the best way and seamless and easy for the consumer to basically navigate and have the best experience as far as they visiting your website. So what we do is, as you take a look at it on the right hand side, you have the same restaurant URL takes them to the mobile app on the mobile device, and then there's a pop-up add to home screen. Okay, and you can say that. So we talked a little bit of technology over here, and if it is too much, or if you don't understand, please make a couple of notes about a mobile web app, and please refer to your web host, or your technology team, or your developer, and say, we love to have a mobile web app for your restaurant. Okay, and that is a great way. And with advances with the mobile app technology, right? Today, the performance of mobile web apps are comparable with native apps. Okay, so I'm going to move up that technology. We dived a little bit here, but you want to make sure that your customers and guests visiting you from your mobile devices have the easiest experience, and they can get to the information they can. So now what we did is, once we heard from our customers, we actually developed what is called a one restaurant app, which precisely does that for each of our clients. And I'm not going to talk more, but we created a solution for our clients for each of recognizing this need to convert things. Now, and here are some numbers, right? So this is now what we did is, here's a case study for our client. We did update the website, added online ordering, all those things. But now this is the kind of results, and I want to pay attention to a couple of things. One is, we are able to add within 30 days, the first 30 days, as a matter of fact, and this happened in the month of August, actually. We are able to add about 116 people to the email list, right? Putting in a pop-up form I talked about earlier, and organically. So we are not paying for it, we're not buying. And the 116, is not a big number, right? But it's the first month, and the important thing, it is organic, so we don't have to pay for it or buy things. Then we got online orders, as you are seeing over there, with average check, and adding about $3,000 in revenue, just doing this mobile optimization, right? And with their 70% of the traffic coming from mobile, right, and sending this digital coupons, if you will, through the mobile, they were actually, this particular business here in one of the suburbs of Chicago was able to turn their slowest night, Monday, to actually their busiest night, which is they're getting more business on Mondays compared to even their Fridays and Saturdays. So that is huge. So just want to share how you're able to convert from your leverage your mobile traffic to be able to do this. Okay, any questions, any thoughts, please drop them in the area. Okay, and yeah, so here is their first order summary in the first 30 days, right? Again, as I shared some of the data. This is one of our customers here talking about about us. We do it very effectively, working with the smaller businesses. Okay. Next, let's talk about some other challenge. Some of the other things we talk about, right? Like to increase customer engagement and grow revenue. And we have heard things on the Facebook, especially there is one actually looking to expand our marketing to our membership, to promote and bring in more revenue. Okay, we also heard we tried everything when he said everything marketing, and it has actually not worked. And we hope to bring our revenues back to our pre-recession level, right? And we have we hear a lot of things around Facebook, right? And this is one of the things we heard. Facebook, for example, shows you, and this is an email I just got from this response from this webinar, shows how many people saw my post with over 1,300 page likes. I would expect more than 70 people would see my post, right? So Facebook engagement, right, is a huge thing. And so engagement, the topic of engagement. So the big problem, if you were to summarize, the thing is, how to increase engagement with our customers and drive repeat visits, right? So and there are various ways we hear this thing is like our Facebook engagement, right? We're sending in even traditional marketing, right? We are sending in this flyers, right? We see a very small portion, right? So we are doing this billboard advertising, spending thousands. So it's all about, how we are engaging with our customers and driving repeat visits. So let me jump into, would this be a good topic to, again, and I want to ask you, is this a good topic to spend maybe the next 5 minutes to talk about some specific strategies? Okay, so please say yes, no, maybe, in the chat area. I'll assume yes, because this is for the sake of time, and as I said, it'll delay. And we'll move forward, but I'm going to be watching your response. So what the strategy we recommend here is what is called integrated email marketing. Okay, and let's talk about this. Let me show you a scenario what this means. Using email marketing. Okay, and I want to hear if if you currently use email marketing in your business. Okay, great. I hear a yes. Thank you. Okay, it's a good topic to go. If you use email marketing, now I'm not going to get into the debate of social media versus email. Like we might talk in the end. But let me show you what is possible using email marketing. So I show a scenario here. Let's say you have 1,000 people in your email subscribers. Okay, average check is 50, right? It might be different, but I'm just making an assumption. And you're running a promotion any night. Okay, one promotion, maybe a slow night. And industry average or open rates is anywhere from 20 to 30%. And you have a redemption of 3%, okay? So if you run the numbers, right, it is 1,500, 30 visits, 10%, sorry, 30% open rates, 3% redemption rate, and with 1,500 per night, right? So those are raw numbers, correct? Now you could actually take this, and then let's talk about a few scenarios. Scaling it up a little bit. Email subscribers 2,500, growing the email subscriber base. Same check average, and then you're running 2 promotions a month. Now through the nurture strategy, which actually is the scope of it's outside of the scope of this webinar, but but I'll give you some data and show you what's possible. The open rates are now in the higher 40 to 50%, and we are actually increasing the redemption rate, and the numbers translate to about 12,500 per month. So would it be great to kind of add this kind of numbers to your monthly revenues, right? So, and then you're looking at top line growth campaigns, right? So now we are actively building the email list, and mind you, this is organic, right? Not a bought or rented email list. And then with the same numbers, you're looking at a cumulative open rates and a cumulative redemption rate. Now, when I talk about a campaign, it's not a campaign is not just one email. It could be a summer campaign, which could comprise a set of emails, or it could be a holiday campaign. So if you do like a summer campaign and a holiday campaign, and with the cumulative open rate and redeem rates, you're looking at adding 125K in a year. Okay, so just want to show you leveraging email marketing. Okay, how you can take advantage and see this kind of conversions. Now let's talk about now I'm going to talk about now let's get back to the discussion about social media or email. I think the answer is it's not this or that, it's actually together. Social media provides an indirect way to engage with your guests. Now if you are having very good engagement with your guests, right, in the social media and Facebook specifically, that is great. Okay, because that is a platform where you are indirectly. But if you're looking for direct conversions, nothing beats email. Okay, if you're looking to send out a promotion, a coupon or things, okay, email is the best channel to be able to kind of accomplish these numbers we just talked about. Okay, so in a nutshell, email and Facebook and social media needs to be working together, right? So that you are engaging. And I hear like often that we get very low engagement rates, and when we post something, only, even though we have over 1,000 people of our fans, only 20, 30, 40 people see that. Well, if you're not aware, that Facebook has been making changes in the algorithm. And earlier this year, they announced, the business model of pay to play model, right? So the advertising is becoming advertising. They want you to pay to get even among even with your fans. So when you post something, it's not necessary that all your current fans are going to see that, right? That's where they encourage you to boost posts. So organic reach of Facebook, if you will, has been decreasing, and it is almost less than 2%, 1% today, versus almost 16 to 20% just about a year ago. So that we know, right? So be don't be surprised to see that now when you post something, less and less number of people are seeing it, because Facebook is changing, right? All the more, that is the reason why you want to bring your fans, and we'll talk about this right now in the next couple of slides, into your email database. So with that setting, let me talk about the strategy, the customer database. Now, let me make sure I'm just tracking the chat area. Dine-in specials, yes. Okay, great. So not any questions. So what is the customer database? Now, when you take a look at today, and I want you to do a quick check as well. If you look at your customer information, how many places do they reside right now? Most likely, if you run a business, there'll be some feedback cards probably sitting on a fishbowl. There's some information there in a card. There are, we talked about, you do have a certain number of Facebook followers, right, in a Facebook platform. Then you have your website visitors, right? If you have online ordering. So as you can tell that, your customers, right, are residing in all various platforms. Now, when you're trying to do marketing, it becomes difficult, an effective marketing campaign, when they're not in one place, right? So one of the first things we talk about is, right, having one customer database, right? And that one customer database, it could be your email list, or it could be a loyalty program, but nevertheless, you want to make sure those feedback cards, moving those Facebook fans, the website visitors, we talked about the opt-in forms, right? Your online order syncing to your database, your online reservations, loyalty program, all are in one place. And then then you can think about an effective strategy. So what does that mean is, the tactics, right? Once you make this decision that you have one customer database, now you have to take a look at all the services you currently have, and are they integrating into this one database? If not, then you have to make a decision. Do you want to replace that, right, with another similar service, but now integrating into your customer database? Okay, so if you take a look at your online ordering, for example, whoever is providing that, okay, do they actually share the customer information, to customer database? Now, in the same note, let me give you an example. Okay, let's say you are using Grubhub. Right now, to my best of my knowledge, they do not share the customer information with you. They do not share the customer email. So it becomes very difficult for you to be able to kind of market and communicate with your customers, right? So now the question is, what is your strategy, right? If Grubhub customers are your customers, I mean, the customers on the Grubhub platform are your customers. How are you going to know them? How are you going to do that? Okay, and we'll talk some of those things. So these are some decisions that you need to make to really build out your customer database, and this is really where the money is, right? The size of your email list. I talk about email list and the customer database, exchanging that, but the size of your customer database is where the asset of your business is, right? Okay, so on the same note, and just continuing on knowing your dining guests, right? Why do I talk about this? Now, if you look at your customer database again, as customers base, this is the customer pyramid, right? From people who are aware of you to the most loyal, and obviously the most loyal are the people who actually come to the doors and dine with you, right? So these people have taken the time to drive to your location, come to the doors, maybe wait for a little while, and then order the food, and then wait a little bit more, and then so they are the most loyal. They do that because they like you, right? And then they're most loyal. So in this base, it's the question is, how well do you know your dining customers, right? And the best attempt we make at knowing them is through this the postcards or the business card. Okay, now as you can tell that these are very ineffective, right? Only a fraction of a percentage, even write down. And somebody mentioned in the chat that you would like to expand to the millennial group. Can you imagine asking the millennial group to write something? It is right, very difficult, to say the least. So what we recommend is, and this is what great, and I'll get to results. So now the guest engagement tablet. And we have, with our customers here, we have accomplished a 90% response rate every time this tablet is presented to the guests. Now, the innovative approach here is we are not actually leaving a tablet at every table. Now you can certainly do that, but in some of the implementation, actually this is carried by servers, so you only need a few per business. And this is presented to the customers at the end of the dining experience or during the wait time, right? And so the way this I talked about 90%, this is really the secret, right? The secrets of the high engagement here is because you're not really asking the guest for their email address, but you are actually giving them a way to interact with you in a fun manner. Either, when you say join e-club, you're actually telling them, hey, get this free coupon, right? $5 off or whatever. We're asking them to give their feedback. We're asking them, to play and win a trivia quiz of sorts, right? And then, obviously, we're asking them to collect their bonus points. But each way they're interacting, we are capturing their email address. Okay, so great way. Now he must be wondering, where do I get this tablet? Well, obviously we do create this for our client, the software and stuff, but as a simple case for you, if you do have an email marketing, or you have a loyalty program, check with them to see if they have a mobile app, Android app, which you can implement in some Android, which are very cost effective tablets, and implement in your thing. Now, certainly, at the end of this webinar, I'll be giving an option to, do some strategy sessions. So I'll talk more about that. But you could actually implement this thing pretty easily, and imagine, you're able to capture, a very high percentage of your guests who actually have experienced your food and experienced your business, right? So that's the strategy here. Okay, and then once you have the acquire of customers, the next one is really around the nurture strategy I talked about. And as I mentioned, we don't have the time to actually talk about the nurture strategy. What do we do? But I'll tell you that most of the emails today, are promotions. So if you do that, there's a danger of customers actually shutting off, and really, that's why it lands in the junk and spam folder, right? So what you really, the strategy here is really have an integrated calendar where you are nurturing your customers, and so that they really get value and they are very highly responsive to your communications. So that means you integrate the events calendar, editorial, and the promotions calendar into one thing. And I'll give an example of what it might look like, right? And if you do remember the conversation around, we got like a 40% open rates and stuff, right? Is because now we're not just promoting, but we are providing relevant content and events, so that when the Father's Day, we are sharing in articles. So this is typically called content marketing, right? And email marketing together, as you can see, at the right balance between content and promotion. That way, people on our email list for this particular restaurant client of ours are very, very open, and when the restaurant sends out an email, they open it. So we have achieved over 40%. Our goal is to actually get over 50%, and we are very confident we can do that. So this is some of the things. When you send out a message, right, you want to be confident that you have nurtured your customers such that they are able to, they are listening to you, they appreciate your communications, instead of just being those those coupons and promotions, right? Okay. um, Great. So this is what I was just talking about, a case study of integrated email marketing. And as you see over here, email growth of 8 per day is not really top of the charts, impressive, right? But this is organic, right? And this was taken, now this has grown since, but this was the first month of really implementing an email strategy. And we talked about sign up rate of 90%. That's what I was talking about, right? And then when was this? Christmas in July. There was a Christmas in July article which had the 40.5% I was referring to. Okay, so this is so if you want to get really that biggest ROI from your digital marketing, and specifically email, you got to have an integrated approach of building the email list and nurturing them, and then converting them. Okay, so this is the client where we talked about the generally customers feel uncomfortable when asked for their email address and using guest feedback cards, right? But by handing the guest engagement tablet to our customers during checkout, now we are seeing much better success. Okay, so I'd love to hear if what are your email acquired strategies. What are you doing? If you can drop a few, I would love to kind of hear what you are seeing as far as email building and nurturing and probably converting. I'd love to see that, right? So please drop some notes. Then we can address it during the QA. Okay, so moving along. So let me summarize, and this is the 48-minute mark. So we talked about 2 problems, 2 points, if you will. Attracting new diners, right? And then how to engage with customers and drive repeat visits. So those are the 2 things we talked about, the problems, and we talk about specific strategies of capture and convert for the first one, and then integrated email marketing to really have high engagement and drive them repeat visits, right? But then there are other things we have been hearing, right? So there have been we really make an effort to hear our customers, current customers, and even we asked you, if you do remember that, if when you signed up for the webinar, what are your challenges, right? So this is what you've been hearing, right? We have to cut back on the ad revenue, but we want to make sure our that's not affecting our leads, right? And then again, Groupon, I hear this quite often, right? Groupon has not been profitable, and then there's this is one of the things we heard in a challenge to keep menu prices updated, with all your digital footprint of your restaurant all over the place. And this particular restaurant, I know they talked about the inconvenient conversations they have with the customers, because customers saw a price of an item 15 cents different than here. So there was this unpleasant conversations always happening with customers, because they were unable to keep their menu price synced in all those places, their website, they are on Grubhub, they're on Yelp, and all those places, and print media as well. Excuse me. So that was one of the challenges, and how do they can actually sync it up. Next is getting more positive exposure, market penetration, and then the other how to improve Yelp reviews and rating, reputation management. So these are again some of the challenges, and unfortunately, all right, we are short on time. As I promised, 60 minutes here. And the strategies we talked about are just the tip of the iceberg, right? So there are many more strategies we execute for each one of our clients, because the needs and the target market, the business itself, and their goals, right, are unique. But I want to also mention, in addition to this, when you leave this webinar, you would have, I'm sure you have received a lot of great information. and and hopefully some actionable information you can go and immediately implement. But if you haven't done this before, it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? So that is why I mentioned to you earlier, if I can show you a fast and easy way to kind of accelerate your success, and if you've been thinking about some of the ideas here, how do you take it from there? So allow me to introduce you to an offer I want to have for you of a digital strategy session. Excuse me. Okay, sorry, I had to I was getting an itch in my throat. I'll take a swig of water over there. So the digital strategy session, right, is here's what you get, right? So again, understanding your business, right? So we do one of our digital experts actually evaluates your business capabilities by conducting a detailed assessment of your current restaurant systems. We audit your current and past marketing efforts through traditional and digital marketing channels, and then we capture the data and lessons learned through your day-to-day operations and feedback from staff and customers. So once we do that, next thing is to really do a SWOT analysis of your strengths, weaknesses of your business, analyze your target market, and the competition, local competition, to get a clear view of your business positioning. And then we determine the right digital marketing strategy that supports the restaurant business goal. This is huge, because digital marketing in itself is not an end in itself. It has to support your business goals. And this is where we want to make sure your digital marketing strategy actually supports your business goals, right? And how it has done in the past, and how is it doing currently. And then really charting out the digital roadmap. Okay, so one of our digital experts then creates a digital roadmap for the restaurant that lays the marketing codes of the business, right? So we prioritize the strategy for establishing one of the things, right, whether it be presence or engagement or attracting or retaining, right? So we want to prioritize those things, and what makes sense. And then we develop a plan to consolidate the digital services into one integrated strategy, right? Now, one of the things that this is a little tactical is immediately you are able to actually do an analysis and see, do the start, stop, and continue plan. And this is one of the things we always do each of our clients is analyze. And what we find is there are quite a few redundant things. I'll give you an example. Like with one of our clients we engaged back in July. They had a website which was also mobile responsive. Then they had a mobile website, and then they were looking to do a mobile app. Right? As you can tell, it was all redundant. They really did not need to do all of that. So immediately we kind of stopped a few things, text messaging, to email service, to a loyalty program. So immediately within our first meeting, we were able to actually stop and save them hundreds of dollars, because they were all disintegrated, and not making sense. And obviously a bunch of them are redundant stuff, right? So this is huge. Start, stop, continue the smart plan. And then once we do this, we we do provide support. It's a partnering for success. So we want to see that. So this is all you get within the digital strategy session. And I want to make sure that now you have the right plan going forward. Okay, now the end of it, this session, what you get is a summary report. It almost becomes your well check for your business, just like your health checkup every year. So it has the data assessment, data, and recommendations. And then the beginning of the webinar, I talked about Google Analytics, for example. Those things, we all put it in one place, so we have a powerful resource for you to make decisions on your digital marketing as well as other business solutions as well, right? So this you get a report. For this, the normal pricing, is $497, and but for this webinar, we have a webinar special for $197 only. And if you're wondering why such a low price, and our intent was to really wanted to eliminate any price concern apart from being free. Okay, we didn't want to offer because we know that anything free is not valued. So we wanted to just keep it so that we know that, but at the same time didn't have any kind of price concern there. Okay, great. And the little bit about the digital restaurant, which I have not talked about, is we are a full service, marketing as well as a consulting. We are one of the digital agency for restaurants only. Now that is how we differentiate, because being a digital agency only for restaurants, we are able to actually build a digital marketing platform that is highly optimized for restaurants, right? And that is where we can provide the greatest value. And this is just a very high level view of a digital marketing platform. And you have your marketing engine with content, email, SMS, loyalty, ordering, sitting on a customer database. And then you have a customer facing and online presence. Now, because we are, again, as I said, focused on restaurants, and especially restaurants less than 20 units, we have optimized it. And we are becoming a platform of choice for digital marketing platform of choice. Okay, so many of our clients are choosing us versus a general purpose digital agency, because now we are able to understand the problem and optimize and better serve restaurant clients. Great. So I hear, let me kind of stop here a little bit here, and check the chat area. $5 off next visit and monthly drawing for free meal up to $12 cost me $5. I get 85% local emails. I like the apps you're talking about. Okay, great. We'll be able to talk more, just and show you some ideas, but we need to have a good sense of what your business is. I see the ID Big Island Cheese. Feel free to contact us, and we'll love to kind of share with you, how to move forward. Here is one testimonial from the client. And the key thing to note here is you don't have to wait 3 or 4 months, because every day you wait, it costs money. So the technology and your strategy and your tactics and the specific steps, needs to work sooner, especially for small businesses, right? So, and we were able to help this business, get online, get their mobile apps, get their online ordering, all within pretty quick time, actually. So, and we're talking less than a month kind of things, right? And that is because we do have an optimized platform which is for restaurants. So when we work with restaurants, we think that now we understand the problem a little better than when you go to a general purpose agency. Okay, great. So to get the digital strategy session, you can sign up. Below there should be a button, and if you once you sign up, you should get an email confirmation and scheduling information for the strategy session. And that should get started. We will schedule, and over a video call, and and go through this assessment. And obviously, if you are local anywhere, we'd love to pay a visit, and enjoy your good food. Okay, but we can definitely do that via video, so not a problem. Great. Oh, okay. So here is the bonus I promised earlier on for sticking around, and it is called the Digital ROI Profit Calculator. And as I said, this is one of the, I am a big fan of this, and my team created this. And the way to get it, I'm going to give you the link there. If you go to digitalrestaurant.com/webinar bonus, should be able to download it from that page. But what this does for you is, in a one sheet, really have a quick assessment of what your digital assets are, and the numbers, and then a profit calculator, and have a good handle on what your current situation is. But then once you do that, you'll be able to figure out the opportunity areas right away. Okay, so for example, if your website is getting 3,000 hits, and your online orders, whether you don't have online orders, but you're getting less than 2% of them as online orders, then here's the opportunity, right? So you have a you can convert. Now you can focus on, all right, how can I get 10% of my online visitors to convert as online orders? So I'll just give you a very, very broad example, but you can take a print out of this. So I'm happy to share this with you and those of you, who stuck around till the end. Okay. uh, all right, so this is another bonus. So for those people, if you do sign up for the digital strategy session, as a matter of fact, we're going to give you a credit voucher of $197 off, if you do choose to use our further services, be it email marketing, be it guest engagement, what are the services. So literally the guest, the digital strategy session becomes free for you, right? So that is a bonus as well, and available to you. And so really there is nothing, to lose, right? You're getting a digital strategy session for free. And right, so click the button below, and I'm taking a look at here. With that, pretty much I'm done here. Okay, we ran till 4. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I passed 2 minutes past the hour, but I'm here to stick around and answer any questions you have. Okay, I'm in no hurry, but I want to make sure that I meet that 60-minute mark here, and we have done that. Let me make sure I have nothing else. Okay, good. So we have a QA. Unfortunately, we ran out of time for the QA, but I believe I did answer most of the questions I had gotten through email response, and then maybe some of those I got on the chat area. So any questions, please drop in. And let me see if I get any other questions through email here. I think the question was around, there is a question around social media and email. I think we covered that. So it is really, if you're starting out, the only thing maybe I can tell is, if you're starting out today, brand new restaurant, and you're wondering where should you invest your time and efforts, obviously from online presence standpoint, you got to have a website, and you have a Facebook page, right? But I would focus my energies right off the bat, and this is one of the areas most neglected. That's why I want to mention is, you want to start your email list right away. And then some of the things we talked about, like put in an opt-in form on your website, have a link on your Facebook page, and then start building that list out, because the size of your list is actually directly related to, in many ways, to profitability, and that's like money in the bank, right? So you want to pay attention to building your customer database or email list. Now we keep on referring to one or the other, and that is huge, right? Because you want to focus on that. But at the same time, you want to engage on the social media and build your fan following. And one of the things we talked about, the email nurture strategy. When you're developing and sharing content on email, the same content can be shared on Facebook platform, and you will see that will get much more views and opens and engagement than just promoting, right? So we often hear, I'm posting all these coupons every day in restaurant website, Facebook page, and very few are seeing it. Okay, there I would say, try not just posting coupons and specials of the day, but some kind of relevant content, right? Some relevant content, right? Which is not promotional. Okay, so, and you will see much more engagement, much more likes and shares. So some thoughts over there. Oh, here's a good question. Should I buy an email list? Seems like the simplest way is to just buy an email list. My simple and straight answer is no, and here's why. First of all, there is a Can Spam Act, and if you're not aware, you're subject to a almost like 16,000 fine per violation, right? So if you have 1,000 email list you bought, and if all of them complain, you're looking at a $1.6 million fine. Okay, from a bot list. Why? Because they have not consented to be in your list, right? uh, so that's a very gray area, and you want to build organically, like we just talked about, where people agree to be in your list, and it might be a little slow, but it is organic and produces the better ROI than and then a bot email list. And so in simple answer, it's just a wastage of money because it's not relevant, and you will not get the kind of responses, and you are actually subjecting yourself to a risk which is not worth taking. um, should I do email marketing? I've heard that email is dead. Yes, we did hear that back in 2012 that email is dead and instant messaging is going to be taking over. And here we are in 2015 and email is live and well. And now what has changed, of course, it's not dead for sure. But what has changed is, back in a few years back, you used to refer to email as email blasts, right? And so email has evolved as well to today. And today everybody is looking for value, so your email is not going to work very well if you're just blasting promotions, blasting information. When you're sending out emails, you have to keep in mind that you want engagement, you want relevance, you want to be relevant to people. So one of the things we do is we segment our for each of our customers, we segment them, right? For example, people who ordered online on a different segment than people who are dining in, right? Because the kind of communications we have with our online ordering segment is different from our dining segment, right? And so these are some of the things to be relevant. And when you have relevance, then you have better open rates and better ROI from your email marketing. So that answer is no, email is not dead, it's live and well. And as a matter of fact, it's become much more important this year with the organic reach of Facebook declining. So email is even becoming much more important. um, how do I increase engagement on Facebook? um, well, I do have a couple of articles on my blog post. I've actually specifically written an article on how to increase engagement on Facebook. So if you're interested, now hop over to the digital restaurant and the blog area, and you'll be able to do that. But essentially, as we just alluded to, you want to have relevant information, right? You want to use, and then obviously you want to use pictures. And even video is becoming popular. So those are some of the tactics, to use a nice picture of food, or relevant around your business, maybe a deck, maybe a food, maybe customers, or events on Facebook. And then short videos are also another way to have engagement. But more importantly, it is about I think if there's one thing you can do, is you are actually have a nurture mindset on the Facebook platform, than just promotion mindset. Now I've seen this, and I typically see this is the restaurant every day religiously, without even missing a day. Promote today's lunch special is this, today's soup special, and every day. And if you look at the news feed of that, actually the page, it is like Monday soup special, Tuesday salad special. So there is no other content except the promotional kind of emails. And that is something people get tired of, right? So yes, you want to put promotions, but you want to actually share some relevant content. And when I say this, it's actually not easy. Content is difficult. And and we that is why we have a total content team, because we're helping our clients to do this. So this is something, you need to have a plan of what you got to have your whole integrated marketing strategy, which we talked about, and looking at it from an annual perspective, not just Labor Day is coming up, what should we send out? Okay. You're actually developing this thing. And now in September, should be looking at what should be your content strategy, for the holidays. Okay. And then looking at it from an annual perspective. Great. Let me see anything else. Oh, I see something pop up in the chat area here. I'm in a remote area in the northwards of Wisconsin with a strong tourist season for 4 months and then 6 months of local. How will it work for my market? Big island cheese. So basically, what I like, what you want to do is do what is called your marketing calendar. Okay, you mentioned that 4 months and then 6 months of local. So what are the 4 months happens? So I would say start top down, your events, local events. What are those? Well, typically that's what we do. And then work to basically, once you have your events, then you look at what are the promotions you're going to do. So and we would love to kind of share this template with you. So there is like in January through December, we have all events and stuff. But the beauty of it is, I'm jumping a little bit, but the beauty of it is once you actually develop this, you can reuse it from year to year. Okay, so which is huge. So this is September, right? You're going to be doing and developing it the first time, and we'll be doing a little bit of testing, see what is working, right? And once you do that, then next year when you come back, you can leverage the past year calendar. Okay. And then basically, now you talked about tourist season, right? So if tourists are coming in for the 4 months, imagine, you're able to capture their email address, okay, and segment them. Now, before the next season kicks off, and many probably will travel, to that area because they have their cottages over there and stuff. You can actually begin to communicate with them. So there's some very neat things you can do. And maybe I'm talking a little bit broad, but without looking at your business, couldn't recommend. So I'd love to take a deeper look at your business and who your customer segments are. So there are some very innovative things you could do with your digital marketing. And hopefully I answered that. Okay. What else do I have? Any other questions? I'd love to answer. How do we handle negative reviews on Yelp? Very good question. And I'm sure this is of interest to everybody because it is a fact that the ratings and reviews have a direct impact on a business. I believe there was a study done, and I had to pull up the report in case you guys are interested. But what I remember from reading that report was a difference in 1-star review translates into a 9% revenue difference. So having 1-star is a 9%, which is huge, right? So ratings and reviews are important because people yes, this is one of the things I can correlate and share is it was shared at the NRA show here in Chicago a couple of months ago. 90% of visitors visit your restaurant website before visiting your restaurant. That means they're looking for information, they're looking for the menu items, then they know everything about the restaurant before visiting the restaurant for the first time again, right? So that's where your reviews comes in, right? People find a restaurant either by searching, then they look for the information where they are or the hours. The next thing they want to know is what other people are telling. So this is really important. Now, coming back to the question of how to handle negative reviews, so the approach to handling reviews is really, you want to not just handle the reviews, but get some good feedback from that review. So review is not necessarily bad. And this was one of the reasons why we actually, introduced the guest engagement tablet in restaurant. So at the end of the dining experience, right, they had a good experience or not, they have some concern. So instead of we letting them go home and they're getting onto Yelp and writing that, right, we said, why don't we capture this feedback right away? So we, when you present the tablet, one of them is a feedback tablet. So we got a lot of feedback, right? But when they send a feedback, the manager itself gets the email right away. It's instantaneous because they submit the feedback, it goes to the system, the manager on duty, and the system can be configured. They get an email. So the manager can actually respond to that feedback even before the guest leaves. But in the case the guest leaves, also the manager can actually right away call the guest and do that. So it is how do I handle reviews? You want to make sure you respond quickly, okay? And in many cases, if you handle the concern of the guest right away, and most of the times they're looking for a way to vent their thoughts, right? If you can do that, if you can listen to them, then it doesn't going to turn into a negative review. But having said that, I want to let you know that don't sweat. You're never going to get a perfect review. As a matter of fact, if you get a perfect review, people are becoming smart. Then if they see that, man, all the reviews are 5-star reviews, then they suspect that it has been canvassed. You probably paid money. Just like today, if you go to Amazon and see a product has all positive review, you are suspicious, right? So what you want, so once in a while, and then you cannot satisfy everybody, right? So not necessarily a bad review is detrimental to your business, but what is detrimental is if you look at the reviews and you see what you call a common thread, right? So if you go to Yelp and then you look at a restaurant and then you look at the reviews, and then a lot of people are talking about slow service, then that is a concern. And as a restaurant owner, manager, right, so you're looking at, okay, wow, okay, so I see that a lot of people are talking about slow service. So then you have to take a look at what you can fix operationally, right? And one of our clients, when we came in, we saw a lot of issues around the order inaccuracies, so a lot of returns, a lot of things. So we knew that there was something around the order was not working, right? So it became important to really, really fix our online ordering system. And today, we were able to fix that. Actually, last month we checked, there was not a single customer complaint around ordering. There was no order returns and accuracies. There's barring one. The only one was there was a lady who placed a duplicate order. One was at the late in the night and one before, because she didn't know if the order went through, and they had to just do a simple refund. So those things, you want to make sure that using the reviews system, you can actually use that as a information to improve your operations, rather. Okay. Great. I see some a question. I take $1 off guest tab if they take picture and post on Facebook or Yelp with good review at the table. Works well. I try everything. Great. That is fantastic. But you have to be careful a little bit, and probably it's not a concern. But if you incentivize them to give a good review, then I'm not sure it works. What's the repercussion? I know that Yelp has some kind of policy that discourages, like, all right, if you give us a 5-star review, then we'll give you $50 kind of thing. So I think there is some kind of I don't know, rule or something like that. But nevertheless, great. If it has been working for you, that is awesome. But then, in the same note, you say you take a $1 off. Actually, I just want to share with you, we have in our mobile app, what we do is, if they actually share their thoughts on Facebook, we give them one punch free. So we have a mobile punch card in the app, which we didn't go into details. But if they get 10 10 times, they get 20% off the 11th time, or if they buy 10 pizzas, they get 11th pizza free, things like that. So if they actually are posting on social media every time then we give them a punch free, right? So that they're earning their thing. So there's some social media incentives built into the app as well, so they can do it right on the fly. So they great. Happy to hear that, and it's working for you. And since I don't know the name, I'm just going to refer to you as Big Island Cheese. Any other questions? We are 20 minutes past 4 o'clock. I can hang out as long as you want. I have really no concerns, but if you have any questions, I'll love to answer that. Oh, great. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, review can be positive or negative. Fantastic. Good. Good. So you're actually giving them a $1 off for their feedback. That's a great idea, right? So incentivize them. But I know that we have been getting, actually, I want to share this with you. We have been getting feedback in this mobile app we talked about, the ordering app. We actually have set up the workflow as a 4-step workflow. So when somebody orders online, and they get a confirmation, then they get told that their food is ready for them to either pick up, or the driver is on the way. And then once they pick up the food, or the driver is ordered, then they say, hey, enjoy your food. Then after a few hours, then they get an email that hope you enjoyed your food, that but we love to get a feedback, how it went. And that has been working tremendous, because they just finished their food and the delivery or picked up. And so we have been getting a lot of feedback around around the service, the food. And it is really good, because it helps us to improve our operations for the restaurant owners. And then if there is a problem, then the restaurant manager, if they get like a 1-star, stuff like that, immediately I advise the restaurant manager to actually reach out and make sure that the concern is handled. And obviously we don't want a bad review online, but more importantly, we want to actually serve our customers well. So absolutely, I agree that feedback is important. If we are if we are listening to the feedback from all the channels, then at the end of the day, we are doing a better job at engaging with our customers. Any other questions? Let's see. Okay, great. I see no other questions coming in. So fantastic. I see Big Island Cheese. You mentioning that on your menu. Fantastic. And I think we get about 25% response, which is good, actually. I like the tablet. Great. If you're interested in the tablet and the software, I think, we can share with you some really good use cases. This is something you can actually implement very quickly. And we'll be glad to help out. So please reach out to us. If you have taken the strategization, that's great. If not, reach out to our through email, and we'll love to help you out if you want to go that route. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Okay, great. So thank you, everyone. We'll call it a night, I guess. And reach us on our website, thedigitalrestaurant.com, or the email you got in your email address when you sign up for the webinar. And great to talk to you all. Have a great day.